Pierce County Board of Commissioners regular monthly meeting, August the 7th, 2012 at 6 p.m. Would you stand for the invocation and the pledge to the flag? Lee, would you lead us in prayer?
Our Heavenly Father, Lord, once again, Lord, thank you for the day and the many opportunities we've had, Lord. Leave us as we go through the meeting tonight, that the things we do and say and the decisions we will make will be in thy interest and the best interest of Pierce County. Lord, once again, thank you for the rain we have for the crops in the county. Lord, forgive us for all our sins and shortcomings. We ask a blessing that we don't deserve. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have you seated? The first thing on our agenda is Miss Susan Perhoff and Ellen Wells. Are they here?
Don't see him.
Okay. Strike them from the agenda. Okay. Item number 2 is Concerted Services. Mr. Brian Singleton, he's the Deputy Director. He's going to give us reports of what Concerted Services does in this county.
Thank you, Chairman Bowman and Commissioners. I would like to start off, just give you some of the numbers I'm going to go over here. I'm going to start off, first off, thank you for the opportunity and thank you for the support. We've had been in Pierce County for a lot of years now, and we certainly appreciate all the support we've gotten. I do have a couple people I'm going to introduce that are here with us that a big part of the agency. Miss Elaine Henry, who is our, y'all all know and love, is our county coordinator, and Reverend Andy Veely is on our executive board. And I'm going to give both of them an opportunity to speak briefly, but basically I just want to go over the, again, one of our commitments is to be good stewards of the taxpayers' money, and to let you know exactly what we are doing with your support and taxes. Currently in the state, or in Pierce County, we have 16 agency employees. Our Head Start enrollment is 75. We've served in the last 12 months over 52,000 meals and snacks to Pierce County children. In weatherization, we've collected 209 applications for weatherization to make more low-income elderly homes more energy efficient. So far, to date, we've completed 64 of those, so we still got a ways to go, and are working through that. From a community service standpoint, the low-income heat and energy program, we served 418 households, which equated to over $142,000 that went directly to keeping people's heating bills, or paying people's heating bills. Emergency food and shelter program, we served 43 households for a total of almost $8,000. Again, that was to allow people to stay in their homes, and also to allow them to have a meal. We currently don't operate the nutrition program for elderly and the volunteer income tax assistance, but something we certainly have the ability to do. The Educational Talent Search Program is a program that serves high school students to provide them with opportunities and the assistance to go to secondary education. And these are majority of these are first generation secondary education students. First one in their family to go on to secondary education. This year we've served 11 seniors. Of those, we had $44,000 in Pell Grant that they qualified for, $6,000 in Hope Scholarship, and another $42,000 in academic and athletic scholarships. And you'll see our addresses there for the Head Start Center and the Service Center and the contacts. But again, I certainly want to appreciate Appreciate your support, and I would like for Ms. Henry. These are the numbers, and Ms. Henry can certainly tell the story that goes along with the numbers. So.
I just want to tell you about the weatherization program, where they weatherize the house. I don't know whether you know what they do when they weatherize the house. Plenty the old homes, you know, the old people have lived in their homes for a long time. They don't want to move, and their houses may have insulation and it may not. Well, anyway, they'll go up and insulate their home. That will save them on their light bill. They insulate their home. They check. They have certified people to come in and check the air pressure of the house to see where they're losing air. And they have them to fix it where they won't lose air through their doors or their windows, replace doors or windows if that's needed. They also do they may do hot water heater. If the hot water heater is old, out of date, you know, they're getting everything now energy sufficient where it will save on your light bill. By me doing a lot of applications here, I get to see a lot of people proof of income, how much they draw. They worked all their life, but they may not draw $900 a month. They got a $300 light bill. Now, they got to live out the rest of that. They got $400 worth of medicine, because if they get $900, they ain't going to get no Medicaid. They're going to have to buy some medicine. They got to make a choice. They ain't going to draw no food stamps, because they're over the guideline for that. So they need help with a lot of different things. That's where we do the weatherization. They can't get the house fixed. We weatherize the home. Our light heat program, where you go down there where we got 418 households. The month of December, we receive the funds for the households. Low income, it's low income that's eligible, but senior citizen is the first one. The first month is for senior citizen only. You got to be 65 years old in order to even be able to receive this. You have to bring your proof of income. I will not take what you say. You will have to bring a letter from the Social Security office to prove to me that you are low income. We do them, and it will help them on their light bill or their gas bill, one or the other, the heat during the wintertime. Because it's very important that the seniors be warm, because some of them just will not turn the heat up because they can't afford to pay that bill. If they need some gas in the wintertime, that 100-gallon tank costs almost $400. And a lot of people, they draw on SSI and Social Security, they get $698 a month. That's all the money they receive. And believe it or not, some of them manage well out of it because they lounge themselves. But to buy a tank of gas out of that, that's hard. So that money always come in handy for them. It's usually $350 is the largest amount that they can get. In November, it's for anybody that's low income. First come, first serve. Sometimes the hall is lined with people, but they have to wait until their turn. I just give an appointment and tell them when to come back. That's on the light heat program. The EFSP, that's the emergency funds. You must have an emergency. That means your lights or your gas is off or finna be turned off. Don't just take your word. Call the gas company or the light company to find out. Ask you the question, what happened that you didn't pay the bill? If you receive a check every month, you know you got a gas bill. What happened why you did not pay that gas bill? They have to be able to explain what the emergency was. Maybe their car broke and as a person worked, they needed a car. They had to take their money to pay for the car to be repaired. Or have to have a really emergency, not I just didn't have enough money, I got too many bills. And if they tell me that, then I say, well, maybe we need to do a budget. Tell what you spent and how you spent it. And sometimes people is willing to do that to help out to get on a better track. Also, she was talking about the talent search program. My mind come back to, I have a nephew that went to college. And he praised Miss Warren Johnson that's on our talent search program over there in Waycross. He said she helped, his mom and daddy didn't go to college. He said she helped him get on the road, you know, to apply for the scholarships, to apply for the different schools. Sometimes you have to pay for some of that. She helped him to apply for these things without cost and helped him to be able to get into Albany State. He's doing great. Some of y'all might know him. He's Clarence Washington. But that's what we do, and we try to help the people. Some of them I have to try to help them move into a place that they can afford. They may be living in somewhere that's costing more than what their check is just about. So I call around to the low-income houses and try to get them into a place that they can actually afford. Sometimes it works good. You can't say you don't have no repeaters. You do have repeaters. But I have to say thanks to the sycamore tree that I have worn them out, referring them people to them when we didn't have funds. But I am thankful to be here in Pierce County. I worked for 35 years here. The county has assisted in some way with concerted service, helping us be able to serve clients here. And we are housed right here in the courthouse annex right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else?
I'll be glad to answer any questions about the agency.
We appreciate everything you do over in this county, but me and Miss Lynn didn't realize all the stuff y'all done. All the things y'all done, I'm sorry. But we appreciate what you do for us.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, the dog lady's got him. Lady.
Sorry, very sorry. Okay, I just want to tell you that last week, a couple weeks ago, when I spoke with Mr. Bowen after the meeting, I told him that we want to know what's happening with the dog situation, with the animal shelter situation. He mentioned that he didn't know if he was going to be on the committee anymore. We would like to know who is on the committee and if anybody's meeting. Secondly, I also told him that we did not want to be just complaining. There's no dog shelter. There is a dog shelter. It houses about 3 or 4 dogs. There's not a proper shelter, let me put it that way, in Pierce County. There's a small shelter in Blackshear that will not take animals from any other city, Offerman or Patterson. I live in Patterson. I know because I have 11 puppies. So a proper shelter. But we don't want to be just complainers. We really would like to be part of the solution. So what we have done is we have gone out, we've had a couple garage sales, we've put donation jars around the city, around the county, and we hope to have one in every business in the county that will allow us to put one in there. So far, within a month, we have raised $596.05. And I think that's very commendable for the residents of Pierce County. They are willing to contribute to this effort. Now, our plan is, we don't know if that original site that was talked about for the shelter behind the UPS building is still at all viable. But if so, I talked to Casey Joyner in Albany, who is the closest inspector for land as far as suitability for building. And he told me that it would be probably about $1,400 to test and report on the suitability of that land. And we can organize the cleanup. With that, you know, we could start. I understand the $67,000 has gone elsewhere, but we need to find some way to put it back in. I know a lot of people got tax bills this week, and from the people I've talked to, even though taxes have not been increased, values have. So you are going to get a little more money. I want to raise taxes for this. I'd just like to see some of our money put to this. The other day we drove to Waycross, and between Blackshear and Patterson, we saw 3 sets of 2 stray dogs running on the street. No collars, just running. Some of these, I gave you pictures the last time we were here about what some of these dogs do to other dogs, and this particular dog that had attacked this bulldog had actually attacked the gentleman who owned the bulldog at another time, actually 3 times. And actually right now nothing's been done about it because there really isn't a facility to do anything about it. Can anybody answer me what's happening with Macon and what's happening with the committee?
Yes, ma'am. The mayor and I have been meeting on that, and I will be in discussions with the chairman this next week about somebody else taking his place on that, because he's been tied up on another project. Possibly it could be me, and the mayor and I have talked about that, and we want to help and move that program forward. So hopefully by our next Board of Commissioners meeting, not the workshop, but the Commissioners meeting, hopefully we'll have some more news for you.
I
But
appreciate
we are moving ahead on that for you.
And I don't mean this in a derogatory way toward the chairman. I know he has a lot of duties, but I understand you're a man that gets things done, so that really pleases me. I appreciate that.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Is the floor open on that? Is the floor still open on that?
Sure.
First of all, I want to commend you ladies for wanting to even attempt to tackle that problem. Now, I agree that something needs to be done, because the area that I live in is the dump zone for animals. I don't care if it's a cat, if it's a dog. Somebody may have a spare elephant they don't want. What I'm saying is something that's got to be done about it. A lot of people go around and start killing these animals. I have personally been to the police department, sheriff's department. Can't get it. Like you said, if you live outside the city limits of Blackshear, forget it. I'm just gonna take him down the road and dump him somewhere else. Is that right? Y'all tell me. Is that right? And y'all talk about having a meeting with the mayor and this kind of thing here. Why not solicit volunteers that want to attend that meeting? I'd be more than glad to. That way we can give a report to the public and give written documentation as to what we're doing. As far as building the place, Sheriff-elect Ramsey has talked about using some of the prison labor that you have over in the county jail. I sat around not doing anything but have a skill. I know you can't get it from Ware State or anywhere else because they're too busy doing construction jobs everywhere else. But what I'm saying is there's a will, there's a way. And you'll find out there's probably some volunteers that will show up on work Saturdays or something of that nature there that have done these kind of things. But personally, I'm tired of seeing dogs and cats brought around. I'm raising a little mama right now with 5 puppies that was just delivered the day before yesterday. Now, some sorry individual come and threw that dog out, hoping she'd run off somewhere and die. How many of y'all are pet owners? You want somebody to do your pet that way? I don't think so. Thank you for your time.
I'm not going to talk now. The only thing what I have to say is people in Blackshear need give us donations, or give anybody what wants to sell something, give donations to us, and don't throw your stuff in the garbage dump. You know, I find towels always over there, but I take out and wash and bring it to the shelter. Pierce County doesn't take none right now, so I bring it to Waycross. You know, I'm not going to be just for over here. You know, I would like to see the shelter over here, but if Pierce County doesn't take blanket, the dogs laying on the floor over there don't even have the barrels no more. You know, they're just laying on the floor in the wet. You know, and that's bad. I don't want, I think nobody wants to lay on the floor, you know. I surely don't, but they can put something in there where they can be at least a little bit comfortable, you know. But Pierce County needs to get together, and we all need to do something about it, you know. Have yard sales, have that. Miss Brina Hill, she donated today, we told it books back home, over 1,000 books for us, you know, to sell for the shelter. And that was a lot of work. We had to pack them up, take them to the house and put them in boxes and take them in the, you know, in my little house in the back. But everybody can do. Everybody can contribute something. Don't throw it in the dumps. Call us up. We come and get it. You know. That's all. Thank you.
State your name to the record.
Okay. Thomas Ammons.
I need Tom, but I couldn't think of Ammons.
My
Okay.
apologies, Carol.
consent agenda. We need to approve the July 10th regular monthly meeting minutes and the July the 24th, 2012 work session minutes. Have you all had time to look them over? I hear a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make the motion that we accept the minutes of the regular and the work session. Second, Mr. Chairman.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the ayes have it. All right, items number 5 and 6, do I hear a motion that we approve these two items? The surplus radio equipment from the EMS and fire and the DOT contract on County Road 309 to Little Harrigan Creek.
Make a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor by signifying aye.
Aye.
And the ayes have it. The general business agenda, Mr. Earl Lawson, CPA, report on the 2011 audit.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Commissioners. I have before you the December 31st, 2011 Pierce County audit, 12 months in ended. And this audit report you've got in front of you has been filed with the Georgia Department of Audits. It's been filed with the Georgia Department of Community Affairs. And to meet their requirements, it's been filed with the Carl Benson Institute of Government with the University of Georgia. They're all on file with those agencies to be reviewed by those agencies. Now, if you turn to page 10 of your audit report for you have my opinion, which basically states it's an unqualified opinion and points out some of the things within the audit to draw your attention to them, especially on page 11 in the last paragraph of that letter. You have page references to draw your attention to those pages and to the things within the audit that are, now on page, beginning on page 13, you have management discussion and analysis, which is basically a condensed format of the audit. It goes from page 13 all the way to page 22. Now this is a condensed format of the audit. The audit itself contains 182 pages. Contained on those front pages in the management discussion analysis is a condensed synopsis of that audit, which points out the growth the county has had and the financial condition the county is in, and the assets and liabilities that the county has on its balance sheet. Now, if you turn with me to page 27, 26, 27, 26 first. You'll find that the county has on hand at the December 31st, 2011, in the extreme right-hand column, the total general government funds had assets on hand of $8,888,869. If you look at the first column on the extreme left-hand column, you'll find that is the general fund, which contains most of the assets the county has, being $5,498,000 of those assets. If you turn back to page 24. You'll have the total assets the county has. Now, the assets I just gave you within the governmental funds contain the current assets that the county has. It did not contain the fixed assets the county has, being the capital assets that the county uses to carry on the work of the county, and the land the county has to carry on the work of the county. In the governmental activities and the business type activities, in the third column to the right on that page, the county has the total assets with the fixed assets included of $31,853,922 at December 31st, 2011. It had liabilities of $1,769,201. So the county had fund balance, which is the difference between the assets and liabilities, a positive fund balance, and the county has a positive fund balance in all the funds that the county has of $30,084,721. Now that being said, if you turn over to page 25 then, you'll see that the Pierce County is in a favorable position because of the UP commissioners who've been on the commission for a number of years, and the commissioners that came before you has provided the assets necessary for Pierce County to be carried forward in the economic circumstances that we find the economy in today. You'll find that some of the counties and cities in this country has went into financial bankruptcy. Pierce County is certainly nowhere close to that because of the provisions that have been made by the previous, as well as yourselves, as well as previous commissioners, in providing the funds that the county needs in order to carry forward. However, if you look at the extreme bottom of the page, third column up, you'll find that the county had a decrease in its fund balance, that is its net assets, that is its its expenditures exceeded its revenues by $512,249, which means that you had to use some of the assets from the previous years that had been accumulated within the county to offset that decrease. Now, I understand that the commissioners, you, as well as your county administrator, has made cuts in finances, in the expenditures, to offset part of this. And that's to be commended because there's been some decisions made, hard decisions by y'all. There's going to have to be decisions made, it's going to be hard decisions further by y'all in order for the county to remain in the good financial condition that the county is in now. If you look at some of the surrounding counties and cities, you'll find that they're borrowing short term in order to meet the budget requirements of the current year, which means that's going to be paid back in the coming years out of the taxes and the revenue that's being collected. Pierce County, fortunately, is not in that category. But sound financial decisions by y'all have to be made in the future in order to maintain the financial stability that the county is in today. Now, that is important. That's certainly not, that's a highlights of the report, synopsis of the report. When you review the report, if you have any questions, I'll be glad to come back and address those questions. You can telephone on the telephone, or I can come back to this commission meeting and address those questions. But I do appreciate the opportunity to serve as your auditor. It's a pleasure to work with the employees of the county, as well as yourselves, in putting this audit together. And like I say, the audit has been filed with the appropriate agencies. So the agencies have them on file so the agency can review them. And therefore the county doesn't get into a bad light with any of those agencies. So if y'all have any questions, I'll be happy to address those. If not, I appreciate it.
Appreciate you explaining that to us, Mr. Lawson, and to the public.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 8 is Bill Selly, Commissioner, District 2, discussion on drawing up an ordinance governing the erroneously or illegally assessed or collected property tax from taxpayers.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion at this time to have the county attorney create an ordinance that relates to property taxes that was either erroneously or illegally assessed or collected. Also, that no one person has the authority to dismiss any taxes and or penalties unless they have the approval in writing from a majority vote of the Board of Commissioners. Also, I'd like to have a letter addressed to the tax commissioner stating that a majority vote of the Board of Commissioners has the only authority to authorize the tax dismissal or refunds or credits.
I'll second that.
You know, a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I would point out that there is already in effect a Georgia code section that specifically provides what to do about any waiver of penalties or interest due on unpaid taxes. There are other code sections in the law that address erroneously assessed. I don't think that the board has the authority to make any law that's inconsistent with the state law about the any erroneously assessed property. Of course, we'll be happy to look into that, but I wanted to point out to the board that state laws are already in effect, which control erroneously collected or assessed properties and the refund of, property taxes and the refund of the same, and also addressing the waiver and penalties.
One thing I'd like to add to that, Mr. Blacknall, I think Lynn Altman had found some documentation. Lynn, do you have that with you? Documentation from 2001.
Why are you looking at that? I thought we was unclear last week.
You're talking about the governing authority.
Well, I thought we was kind of unclear. The law didn't really, we didn't have real good interpretation. It's exactly what was said last meeting.
Well,
so if we don't know it, we need to clarify it if we have to write the Attorney General.
Yeah.
We need to know our rights and know what we need to do.
Yeah. The code section that deals with waivering of penalty says that the governing authority, which is the Board of Commissioners, can delegate to the tax commissioner the authority on a case-by-case basis. The confusion or the real problem that is contained in the law that you're referring to, Mr. Boyette, deals with the tax commissioner's responsibility under the law to reasonably determine that the fault giving rise to the penalty or interest was due to reasonable cause and not to gross or willful neglect or disregard of the law or of regulations or instructions issued pursuant to the law. So the issue there is really, that y'all can delegate to the tax commissioner by resolution or on a case-by-case basis. What y'all want them to do. The resolution can establish rules and regulations govern the administration of this code section and establish guidelines to be followed by him. Now, if you'd like for me to draw something like that up, that y'all have that authority to do that. Under this particular code section, y'all have that authority to direct the tax commissioner that when these conditions are met, then he has he can waive penalties or interest. So if you like something like that, this law specifically gives you as the Board of Commissioners that authority to but that's under the resolution as opposed to a case-by-case manner for him to do it. So we can look at setting up a resolution, giving him that authority, and then the board can give him certain rules and regulations that guides him and allows him to make that determination. But we'll need to be as specific as possible, because it's just not if somebody has a hard time paying them or something like that. It's my opinion that it really is based more on items like if somebody was in a coma for 6 months and then they couldn't, they didn't pay their taxes and there were penalties and interest because of that. That type of thing is really more what it's addressed to. But I'll be happy to do that under this code section.
I think that would work. I think the biggest problem we had last time was the wording of reasonable, what was reasonable.
Right.
That's right, that's right. Well, I think that since y'all have the ability to establish some guidelines for him to follow, that would take away his discretion as to, you know, reasonableness and things of that sort. And y'all can certainly do that under this code section, so we can work on that.
Mr. Titanall, I understand in 202, you'll correct me, in 202, y'all gave him permission to do that.
The tax collector, you might have, I don't remember anything specific or no paperwork.
Is that what you were referring to?
Frank Rozier discussed with me that it was back in 202 that this was come to, but what I cannot understand, why Jesse didn't do it and send them to me. Just the thing I can't understand.
Well, if I may, Lynn's got a different view on that. Do you want to explain that nothing was actually done?
The only thing that was done was that in 2002, the board made a motion to support that code section. It gives the tax commissioner the authority to waiver penalties and interest. There was no resolution, no ordinance or anything, it was just a motion. And all it was to support that code section, 34 dash something.
Yeah, it's 48-5-242, and actually that law was changed in 2002. That was the most recent change, and maybe y'all were acting on that. I have not seen that. I was out of town today, and I understand it was emailed to me today, but I have not had an opportunity to look at it. You know, we can certainly draft something. We'll go back and look and see what the board did in 2002, because y'all may want to kind of track that or follow that depending on what they did.
It was not an ordinance or a resolution, it was just a motion made by the board to support that code and give the tax commission the ability to waiver penalties and interest.
Which has to state law.
That was the law at that time, 2002.
That's right, but this subparagraph C does give y'all the ability, as the board, to set forth those guidelines that he's got to follow. And it takes that away from him. I mean, he can still do it, but he has y'all's has to have y'all's approval, of course, to do it. It's written approval required, and then y'all can establish rules and regulations governing how this code section is administered.
I think that's good.
And of course it is upon written approval of the governing authority, and the governing authority consists of all board members.
Mr. Chairman
Yes, sir.
and board, if I wanted to suspend or waive my taxes, how would I go about it? Is there an application? Why not make one?
I don't think you can overcome state law.
Well, the state law doesn't say that you can't make an application.
I'm sorry?
State law doesn't say that you cannot create an application and each board member sign off on it. That way it takes the uncertainty of who said what out of the picture.
If we make a policy, it'll address it all.
That's right.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor by signifying aye. Aye. The ayes have it. Okay, item number 9 is Edward Cady, Human Resource Director. Presentation from Personnel Committee on Salary Scale Proposal.
Good evening, Commissioners. I provided a packet for you tonight. It's in this coded packet. Melissa Howard serves as the chairperson of our personnel committee for the county. I don't know if she's here. Come on up, Melissa. You get to join me. She has done an outstanding job. We have been working the last 3 to 6 months on reviewing our personnel policy with the county and also reviewing job descriptions and also salary scales for the county. And basically what we've done tonight is the committee has been working feverishly on this project, and we wanted to give this to you as a matter of information tonight. We would like for you to review the packet, review the numbers, and we encourage you to allow us to come back and answer any questions that you may have. And this is something, the last time we've had a salary scale upgrade in the county, I think it's been back in 2001, is that correct? 2001. At that time, the minimum wage was a little bit less than what we're paying now. I think minimum wage is around $7 somewhat an hour. Some of our salary scales are still set at $5.25 an hour. You'll have a copy of that. The old scale that we had in there compared with the new scale, and we just encourage you to take a look at that tonight. Do you have any questions? We're not wanting the board to act on it tonight. We just want you to review it for 30 days to give us an opportunity to answer any questions that you may have. We have solicited other counties in our region, Brantley County, Ware County, Charlton County, and formulated an average of salaries for the positions that we have here in Pierce County. We're having an issue of retaining employees here in Pierce County because we have one of the lowest salary scales in our region, in our area. We have outstanding, wonderful employees that work here in Pierce County that made a sacrifice to work here, and they want to stay here, they want to retire here, but we need to get our salary scales up to reality, and we just asked you to review that. Anything you'd like to add, Melissa?
That's it, and we've even went as far as to go ahead and put a couple of these together for you, and as to what we think they should make, where they should fall on a scale, and if you'll look, it's all labeled in there. We've got everything laid out for y'all. It doesn't include everybody right now. This was just our start. We wanted to present that to you and let y'all see where we are at it, and get y'all's opinion of it, and let's move forward with it.
And Commissioners, one other footnote on that. One of the items that brought this to light was that you would have people working in the same type of work making different salaries. Some of them would be $10 an hour, some would be $7 an hour, some would be $8 an hour, and they're doing the same work. So that's what really stimulated the conversation to get started on with the Personnel Committee on trying to bring some uniformity to the salary structure and the grade structure for employees for the county. Thank you.
Does the commission have any questions at this time?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, item number 10 is Edward Cady, the IT Director, discussion on accounting program.
Commissioners, again, thank you. If you will take your yellow folders that I've given some material in there. Some time ago, we had come to the commission making a presentation on changing our payroll system here in the county. We had looked at a couple options of maybe looking for an outside company to come in and maybe provide that service for us here in Pierce County out of Jacksonville. We went back and we've made some reviews, and basically what we've looked at, I myself and Lynn Altman, our finance team, Amy Hitt, and also Tina Lalone, our county manager, is TBS, which is the current system we have with Harris Systems. We have one or two options that we can do. Option one is we can look at outsourcing and having an outside company come in and do it. And of course, you've seen the different quotes that's been given to us in the county. You're ranging anywhere from, if you look on page 4, you're looking at anywhere from $20,000 to $35,000 to $30,000 across the board. Basically, we have a system. It's called TBS, Harris Systems, here currently in the county. We already have our general ledger intact. We already have our payroll system, and we're currently paying around $24,000 a year to host that system off-site. The backups are done off-site. we can actually upgrade our particular program that we've got here in Pierce County for a cost of $30,000. And when we say $30,000, that means that's our software, that's our investment. We keep everything in-house here in Pierce County. That's a one-time charge. If you look on page 1, you'll see the breakdown of the Harris systems. The purchase price of actually upgrading the system, we have what we call a lifetime software with TBS. It doesn't initially cost us to upgrade. The only thing that we have is annual maintenance and support fees every year, which we pay $6,645 for all the updates. Currently, right now, we're paying $24,000 a year. So if we brought all that back in-house, we didn't outsource it, we could continue to do it with the staff that we have here in Pierce County, we could save about $17,461 keeping it here in Pierce County. With that said, we could also include the biometric time clocks. Some of the purchases for time clocks outside of the county that vendors have provided was $2,400 for a time clock. We're looking at we can get the time clocks for $770 a piece, and that will meet our needs in the county. So we would be spending $5,390 for time clocks. That is included in that $30,390 upgrade with TBS that we're looking at in the county. With that said, our recommendation is not to outsource it. Our recommendation is to keep it in Pierce, and we can continue to operate with our software that we have. We already have the equipment in place. We already have the server in place that we can handle that. And I would like to make the recommendation to the board that they review these proposals tonight and offer any questions that they may have.
To farm it out, wouldn't it put somebody out of a job here, several people out of a job if it's to be farmed out? Would the same people be employed to hire somebody else to do this?
No.
Local people I'm talking about.
Right, no, there wouldn't be anybody eliminated.
Well, don't you have several in the staff already to do all this?
No, we don't have several. We got 3 people now that do that type job.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
3 to do that type.
Well, they do all kinds of accounting.
Well, I'm talking about you got 3 dudes that could work on that.
Yeah, they can actually take this software and do the same thing that the people can do if we farm it out. And they can handle it in-house, and it's really a win-win for us. We can save money, plus we can keep it in-house.
And Mr. Christian asked us to go back and revisit this issue that we had, and we were able to come back and utilize the systems that we already have in place that this present board and the board review allowed us to upgrade over the last year or 2 in the county. And so I would like to make this in the form of a recommendation to the county manager tonight that we keep our current system and upgrade it and allow TBS, us to move forward and spending the upfront fee of about up to $30,000. Now let me explain that to you. If you look towards the bottom on page 1, you'll see total professional services. Those are fees that you could pay up to. I believe I'm going off-site to get some training with another county that's already got this application, that I believe that I can take that information, come back and train our staff and actually cut that $13,000 in half. So any way that we can save $1 for the taxpayer, that's what we want to do. So I believe 1 or 2 days of my time going outside would be very beneficial to the county and doing that. And Mr. Paul has been very supportive in doing that.
What we'd like to have is a motion, commissioners, to move ahead and purchase this software and implement this program. I think we've talked about it in workshops, and we've gone back and revisited, and we think we have the best plan for us at the least amount of money that will produce the most results that we need out of it.
Do we have money set aside for this program?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're actually bringing all of our outsourcing we're bringing in at the end of the year. We should be have a cost savings somewhere around $80,000 to $90,000 of money that we have brought back in that we were spending. So we're making some great progress, and this will just help us get there a little bit quicker.
But the funds are available at this time if we put this on the motion, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
What's your pleasure?
Make a motion that we move forward, incorporate the biometric time clock.
I'll second, Mr. Chairman.
All in favor, by signifying aye. Aye. The ayes have it.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Okay, item number 11 is Carl Boyd, Commissioner, District 4, discussion on Eden Road.
I asked the chairman if he would, guide me through that process. The DOT has looked in it, a portion of that road, and the chairman's a whole lot more knowledgeable of what we need to do next, so I asked him to help us out there and take us to the next step. Mr. Chairman?
You got your paper in front of you. From 32, I think you need to go all the way to WPA Road. I don't know, how many miles is this?
What's the scale route we got?
From Eden Road to Walkerville Road is not quite a half a mile.
I think 2,000 people.
Yeah.
From
2,000.
32 now,
I,
from 32.
32
To
to Walkerville now, not from Eden Road to
WPA
Walkerville.
Road.
Now, if you go all the way down to WPA, that's a lot longer. That'd probably be maybe not too far from the mile, say 3/4 of a mile.
Yeah.
But to the connect with the other highway, it's right, not quite a half a mile.
Not a mile, right?
If you went totally, it would be a mile or less, right close to a mile. If you went the dirt road on to end Eden Road, if you went one end of Eden Road to the other, you're talking about close to a mile. I measured from highway to highway, and I believe it's 46/100ths of a mile. If you went the other, I didn't measure that, but I can give you that.
Drawdy Street.
Yeah, Drawdy Street comes
All
back.
right, if you do it on, if you come around Drawdy Street, that's already paved to get on Tooten Road. Or you could go WPA Road, or you could go up to Tooten Road and go around past.
Tooten Road's already paved, isn't it? Tooten Street.
Are they resurfacing it now?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that's the next road that I wanted to do over in Patterson. I'll give you.
But you want to stop at Tooten Street or?
No, I think we need to go from 32 right on to WPA.
Then it's going to be dirt road from there back up to Drawdy, is that correct?
WPA will be dirt road from there back up the road.
Which road?
WPA road.
Is it dirt?
Between Eden and back to Drawdy will be dirt.
It's dirt?
Yes, sir. My neck of the woods. Well, Saturday anyway.
I think the WPA road was paved. It ain't paved.
No, PA.
Nothing on WPA paved.
It's all dirt. Between the two highways is 46/100 mile. That's Walkerville Road and 32.
Well, what I'm saying, you know, that Eden Road down there is the road we had trouble with.
All the way over here to Farm. Yeah, County Farm. Yes.
Getting the dirt. Bad road.
It rains out in November.
Don't we have some money coming? DOT has done secured the funds for the base and the paving, which is $100,000 they have set aside. And I think they said the chairman just had to call. And I think they want us to do the dirt work.
And get the right of way.
And get the right of way.
Did they say a 60 foot or an 80?
I didn't ask.
Probably in there they would go for 60.
I'll say that. If you go straight through, I don't think you can get over 60 foot. There's two houses in there very close together. I don't think you can get over 60 foot.
You talking about on opposite sides of the road?
I know there's a bad spot down there on Eden Road by that church. I'm thinking you go through there all the way by that church.
We're probably gonna have to have at least 60 foot to have a state contract. They may take 80. And that's just something, I don't know.
And I guess
What's
we'll find that out.
what's the pleasure of the board?
I'm definitely interested, Carl, especially if we get the landowner participation through the road.
Yeah. Have a second? Put that in the motion.
Yes, sir.
Second. All in favor by signifying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Okay, item number 12 is Paul Christian, County Manager, discussion on EMS ambulance.
Commissioners, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, we've discussed this on numerous occasions. I think we have a unit, a remount unit out in the parking lot for anybody to inspect. I think most of you have already seen that. Just like to have a motion to move ahead and purchase a remount with the grant that has been obtained and replace one of our units with a remount.
This is savings mainly about half as much as in the brand new one.
I think a new one, and Ken can probably correct me, or Darryl, a new one is about $140,000 to $150,000.
Yes.
A remount, they figure is about 72. Even if you go a little bit higher than that and wind up at 80, you're still way ahead of the ball game. And we've been to the factory, one of the factories, largest in the United States. I visited them, and it's an excellent product, and I think it'll accomplish everything we need. It'll help us to transport our folks, and it also save taxpayers a lot of money.
I'm just asking now, I don't know, does that mess up our grant?
No.
No, it says in there.
It says it in the grant.
Either or.
Either or. Yes,
Okay,
sir, I already read the grant.
I just making sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what's your pleasure?
I make a motion that we go ahead with the remount.
Can I have a second?
I second, Mr. Chairman.
All in favor by signifying aye.
Aye.
And ayes have it. Item number 13, that's an unlucky number, Dale.
Very unlucky talking about this too.
I'll say 13 and a half.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I'll just be limited on comment. Just wanted to let the board know, due to the ongoing, where the board, both the Joint Planning Commission and the Board of Commissioners denied rezoning this property to industrial. And as of Friday, made an inspection there, and they were still not in compliance, so I have cited President ourselves. So just want to inform the board.
I normally don't jump in, but from a legal standpoint, hadn't the appeal time ended also for them to
Yes, sir.
appeal the board's decision?
Yes, sir. They had 30 days from June 7th, is when the county commission, that was the vote on it that night. So July 7th was the deadline. And after that, I had went back out and also reassessed the property and wrote them a letter and gave them an extra 10 days of compliance, and of course, they failed to do so. So
What's our next plan of action?
There are some legal issues that y'all can look into taking in this matter, and just be up to the board as to whether you wanted to do that as a litigation matter. And I had asked Ms. Altman to put that on the executive session to discuss with y'all the legal actions that are available to the board in this matter.
If we don't follow no legal action, we shouldn't have wasted our time to start with. So I think we need to follow through with it. What's the use of setting policy if you don't follow up on it?
Yeah, here's what, well, I'll go ahead and address it now because it just is more of a decision from y'all as to which way you want to go. There are 2 or 3 ways you can go. You can go with what's called a TRO, which is a temporary restraining order. You can, your ordinances, the Pierce County ordinance allows y'all to turn it over to the county attorney to pursue an injunction. So we could file an injunction. There's also the availability to the board to file a lawsuit for nuisance, and those are 3 different ways. We do need to make sure that all of the ordinances that we've had in place does not exempt them from anything, from any of those actions. I don't think so from talking with Dale. I think that either of those actions or all of those actions are available to be able to take against them. And I just need the board's approval to institute that action, whichever y'all decide.
They need a motion.
Well, yeah, what we could do is discuss it more in executive session, come back out, and then decide what y'all want to do about that.
The Times would object to discussing in closed session with White Hall.
I'm sorry?
The Times would object to having it discussed in closed session. If there hadn't been a lawsuit filed, why would it need to be discussed in closed session?
Is potential litigation. I think it's covered under the executive session. We pretty well discussed in open meeting what we're going to be doing anyway, but
right, which I mean, I think just discuss it in public session.
Well, I think since it involves litigation, we can move into executive session and discuss it.
Can I please have my objection noted?
Yes, sir, you may. And under the new open meetings Act, we will have the clerk note what we talk about, but we don't. She's not required to discuss who said what, but we will have what we talked about.
All right, thank you.
When do we want to find out your decision on
Well, I imagine. I don't know, but the tenor here looks like after we decide what's going on, they'll come back out and decide what to do. It probably would be tonight, I would imagine. There's not a lot to not a lot left. It just depends on how we go about doing what we're going about doing. But it will be, now I'll tell you this, we won't be filing it tomorrow because I got to draft the pleadings and all that. It takes a few days to do that. But assuming that that's what they decide to do, it'll be shortly. It won't be a month from now, but it won't be tomorrow, probably sometime next week. Give me an opportunity to draft a lawsuit. The last thing we want to do is put a lawsuit into court that gets kicked out because something wasn't done properly, and I always take time to look at what I'm putting into court. So it'll be a few days before we get it drafted. Assuming that's what they decide to do.
Thank you, Dennis.
All right, thank y'all.
Item number 14 is A.J. Griffith, the road superintendent.
Chairman and Commissioners, we are getting very low on dirt for the county to redo the roads. I've checked into it and I talked with Paul Christian this morning about a person that's close to our place of business that will give us all the dirt we want. He'll sign any kind of papers where we won't be liable for anything. It's good dirt. If you approve it, I'm gonna have it analyzed by the scientist. I want to see if it's jagged sand. That's about as good as you can get. And if you approve it. And I don't know how you want to do it. Maybe you want to do it for contract 3 years or whatever. This person, it just really doesn't matter. If we pull out or whatever, he's going to finish it up on his own later on in life. So it's no money at all. It's just free gift. Us dig. Only thing he asks for is just when we pull out to slant it off. is all he asks for.
What if we don't pull out?
I figured really to give a 2 or 3 or 4 year contract, I think might be something, if you approve it, might be fair for him, but I would think he would renew it. I think everything would be fine, but I really already think that this some of the finest sand you're gonna get mixed with this clay, and it's right on us in a half a mile where our shop is.
I think we need to go and get it tested and make sure everything checks out on it, and we go with it from there.
Okay, if that, please, I already checked into the man. Our scientist for the state of Georgia lives in Waycross, Georgia. He'll come inspect the dirt and everything. I have to call him. I just got his phone. He don't know, but I checked on all that today, and we can call him and get him to check the dirt if it turns out what we want. I went today and opened up enough to dig down to see what's there. I'm pleased to have it if we approve it.
Yes, I'll put that in form of a motion if everything checks out with the scientist, dirt scientist, so we move forward with it.
Second.
I'll naturally need some kind of contract for this.
Yeah.
This man,
3 years.
Mr. Blacknall will take care of that.
He'll put together any kind of contract you want to put together. He would sign with no problem. And
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify aye. And the ayes have it.
thank you.
That's beside you letting me have that man 3 days next week. Item number 15 is the multi-purpose facility at the NFC and the library project invoices total as of 7/31/2012 totals $110,608.20. The NFC and MPF is $61,286.87. The library grant is $43,375.97, and the library county is $5,945.36. Do I hear a motion we approve this? You're not gonna have many bills left.
I make a motion to we approve this.
Have a second?
Second, Mr. Chair.
All in favor by signifying aye. And the ayes have it. We thought we had item number 16 worked out. Okay. I want to know if the other 2 buildings will soon be opened up. What it is, we can't turn the fire sprinklers on because the school building, I can't turn them on yet. To rearrange the pipe, to put a cutoff valve for the high school, it's gonna cost $4,000. Now that's to take it loose and put it back. Total.
That's the water line running from up.
But we was trying to get where, and I may still get to do this, to let the the sprinkler system come back in there and finish that school. Rand don't have a problem with it. And I'm trying to get it worked out where we can do it for nothing. But if I can't, I need a motion to go ahead and let's do this. Because I can't sit there with them 2 buildings. Understand what I mean?
That's the library and the gym you're talking about.
Right.
Mr. Chairman and I spoke about that today, and Rand came over and met with us. And then Rand talked with Rusty McCall, and they can open the library, but they said they couldn't open the gym, because the gym and the NFC are tied together on that sprinkler system. But the library doesn't have a sprinkler system per se like the one in the first edition. He said if you didn't open the gym, you could just leave it all down, but, you know, that's up to the chairman, because he wants to open that building at the same time he opens the library, so.
I'd love to. But if I can get it worked out the other way, I'll do it. But if I can't, I need an answer tonight so I can go ahead.
In disrupting one to do the other, how's that gonna affect the insurance on those bills?
It won't. It won't affect it.
Because you don't have a sprinkler system in the school, in the multipurpose center now that's working because of the fire. So it would probably be the insurance advantage to have those two buildings working and have the sprinkler systems working. At least you'd have two of them sprinkled instead of none.
I make a motion, let the chairman move ahead.
Second.
All in favor by signifying aye. Aye. And the ayes have it. But remember, I'm going to try to get it done for nothing. Okay. Do I hear a motion that we go into the executive session on litigation?
And personnel.
And personnel.
Make the motion.
Second.
All in favor by signifying aye. The ayes have it.
Mr. Mitchell, who seconded that?
Carl? I did not.
Look forward to working with you too.
I need a minute now. I'm trying to make coffee. I'm walking the door. Share it with me, people like me.
Bill and Randy. Stu Ducker would be good.
Quit thinking about food.
Thank you,
You
Mr.
ain't
Chairman.
gonna get all that stuff tonight.
I tell you what,
You might as well pick you up something to eat on the way home and go on and go to bed.
I need to.
Go to bed. As late as it is, 8:30. You be 11 o'clock getting to bed just to pick up something.
I do, I do.
I hear a motion, we come back to the meeting after the executive session. So moved.
Second. Second.
All in favor by signifying aye. Okay, in our litigation, we have decided to turn this over to Mr. Blacknall. Did I hear a motion to this effect?
I make a motion, we turn it over to Mr. Blacknall.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
All in favor by signifying aye. The ayes have it. And the personnel, nothing happened at this time. Anybody else got anything to say?
I do. Real quick, I just wanted to recognize the EMS department, one of our neighbors today had a false alarm at their place, and it wasn't just a couple of minutes. There were 2 responders there already. And we appreciate the quickness and, you know, what we have going on in this county.
Thank you,
So
sir.
had it been a real fire, it would have been, you know, taking care of the business rather quickly.
Thank you, sir. If nothing else, this meeting is adjourned.
Mr. Chairman, I have, you said you turned over Mr. Blackwell. What exactly is going to happen next?
I'm going to investigate it and look at filing some legal actions.
What do you mean investigate it?
I think I mentioned to you earlier, I just don't run to the courthouse and file a complaint. I have to prepare the pleadings, and it's just not something like filling out a couple of forms. So I have to discuss with Mr. Brown some more facts. May contact you, I don't know. I'm going to talk to Mr. Brown for sure and get some ducks in a row as to what's been happening, and then go from there.
So meanwhile, he still goes on?
Well, Mr. Register, lawsuits take time. You don't walk into the courtroom tomorrow and have a jury verdict tomorrow.
Exactly, I know that.
And so there's, Mr. Brown had said earlier that he had issued another citation to them. I think, Mr. Brown, is it set to be in front of the magistrate court, did you say again?
Yes, sir. September 21st.
That may or may not go through, depending on what action we decide to take with Superior
Let me say
Court.
this. What the reason why I'm saying all this is, this guy has blacked Pierce County in the eye for the last 2 years. He's been allowed 30 days, 90 days, 60 days, over and over and over. I mean, why can't we stop his business from going on while something's taking place?
Well, that's
possible. How long does it take to file an injunction?
That's something that we're going to look. Well, I don't run file an injunction the next morning either.
Why not?
You need to have your facts in order, and I don't want to get thrown out of court not having the facts in order.
Well, let's not deal with give you plenty of facts for the last 2 years. I mean, the fact is none being through every one of these commissioners up here.
Yeah. Well, I understand your frustration, but
it ain't only for me.
Yeah.
It's for Pierce County. I mean, this guy has went on and on and on.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Brown has taken prior action that has been handled. There's been a zoning and planning commission meeting where this was done. I don't think it's just been an inactivity on behalf of Pierce County. I think Pierce County's been doing everything that they knew to do, given due process to the offender or alleged offender throughout the last several months. If you recall, the chief magistrate had put in her order that she gave time that was beyond Pierce County's or Mr. Brown's control. You don't tell a judge what he can do or she can do or not do, and she put it in there that you could, or that he could do the planning and zoning thing. So
after that took place, now this is going on.
Well, after that took place, then everything went through a process where 30 days, expired. You had to give them the 30 days appeal, and that's
well, let me ask you this. Can you give me a specific date or a close for 30 days, 90 days, 2 years, or what?
Well, I'm going to work on it as fast as I can. I have a law practice that involves, with all due respect to the board, that involves a little bit more than just the board. I will put this on the front burner because I know it's been going on a while, but I cannot safely give you a time. That's similar to when I have clients ask me how much money do they think they can get. If I give them a figure and come up short, then they're mad. And so the same way with you on the time, I can't I can't tell you it'll be done tomorrow, I can't tell you it'll be done next week. I'm going to put it on the front burner, talk with Mr. Brown right away. And
It's been on the front burner, sir, for 2 years.
It hadn't been on my front burner.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, it's time to do something about it.
Yeah, well, I understand, and I understand your frustration, and we're going to take,
No, I don't
action.
think you do. I mean, I've heard that, but I don't think you understand
Well,
quite as bad.
Well, yeah.
let me say something. This didn't start with us. This did not start with us. This started back out there about 6, 7 years ago.
What you mean?
He shouldn't have got a license.
No, exactly.
Yeah, he should not got a license to start with. So we're trying to
I know, but one
to handle
thing I am
this.
saying, Mr. Chairman, is
You know, you can go ahead and file a suit against him too. You
What?
got that option.
I know that.
Yeah, you do have the option yourself as a citizen next to him to file a nuisance claim also.
Well, I mean,
That's probably what I'd do if I was living there.
well, you know what I probably wound up doing, filing a lawsuit for both of them. I mean, we're not getting any cooperation with Pierce County.
I don't think the facts show that, Mr. Registrar, all due respect, is everything that Mr. Brown has told me that he's been doing.
I'm not saying Dale hasn't done his job, Dale's done a
Well, he's the
wonderful job.
agent of Pierce County, and
Exactly.
and so therefore, Pierce County's been doing everything in its power to take care of this and to get this done. You can fuss with the judge for giving that extra time. I'm not going to fuss with her for giving the extra time. I don't do that to judges. I don't fuss with them about what they determine they're going to do. But she gave them that extra time, and the county had to abide with it. By if they'd come to me and said, "Hey, can we go ahead and go over her head and do this and do that?" I'd have said, "No, you better do what that judge told you to do." And that's what Mr. Brown has done. Is exactly what the judge told her to do, told him to do. They had a planning and zoning meeting, and I think you were here for that. They have issued another citation. It doesn't look like that citation is going to do anything, so therefore the board is taking it upon themselves now to look at doing some legal action against them that is in the Superior Court. It's not in Magistrate Court. It will not be in Magistrate Court. It'll go to Superior Court. And Superior Court has a little bit of power and influence here and there, and so hopefully if it goes the way that we want it to go for the board, then you'll get the satisfaction that you want. But I don't control the Superior Court and how they run their cases. I just put them into court. But I don't run off and put them into court the very next day after a client comes and sees me.
So basically you don't know.
I don't know. I've got to talk to Mr. Brown and get some more information on it. It may be a week, it may be 2 weeks.
Well, you've been talking to him for the last month about it.
It may be 3 weeks. I didn't have authority to institute any litigation until tonight, so
Okay.
I haven't
That's
been.
fine. I appreciate it.
I haven't been. We'll work on it.
Okay.
We'll put it
Yeah,
on the
I've
front
heard
burner.
that before too.
Well, I'm sorry.
This meeting is adjourned. Again.